uh, on my YouTube channel. Hello, YouTube. Welcome. Hello, family. Let me say hi, wave to everybody. It is your girl, Jeanette the Oracle, and I am thankfully safely back home after the Blavity .org and DivInc events that we just had in Austin. Hello. Oh, hey, Taylor. It's been so long since I've seen you on here. Awesome. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Blessings to you and the family. Hello, YouTube land. As you come in, say hi to the Soul family. Of course, you know how it goes, and let us know where you are joining from. And yes, hello, Marla Montoya. Hey, hello, free to be me now. Yes, hope everybody's doing well. Happy Thursday. We are almost done with Scorpio season. Sagittarius season starts next week, and we have a new moon in Sagittarius happening at 1 degree Sagittarius. So energy is definitely going to be shifting. But I just wanted to jump on and like hang out for a little bit after the event and just share a bit of my experiences and see how folks are doing. This was a lot of fun. This was actually this is the third time this year speaking, I believe. And that's been like a really nice opening to what I'm able to do here through Anderson Alchemy, to be sharing my experiences and to be supporting folks that I wouldn't necessarily be connecting to like here on social media if they don't already know me, and to be able to, hopefully impact their lives with the wisdom that I have and that I know, and then basically like grow the soul family. So this has been a lot of fun. It was my first time getting flown out anywhere for work for my business, so that was really nice. And so what the event was basically like, if you don't know, Afrotech was happening from Sunday the 13th through today. I think today is actually the last day for it. And that's run by Blavity Inc. And Blavity Inc. actually owns several brands underneath it. So it owns Shadow and Act, 21 and 90, Travel Noir, Afrotech. I feel like I might be missing one, but those are basically like the for-profit companies. And then BlavityOrg is new, and it's actually the nonprofit arm of Blavity Inc. And that, I think they started just about maybe 2 years ago. So it is new. So the ED, the executive director, had actually reached out to me towards the end of last year to ask if I would be open to being a facilitator or a speaker for some of their in-person events that they were going to start doing this year. And of course I said yes. And so for the stuff that's been local here in LA, that's been in collaboration with Soul and Sound Festival, which is actually run by two beautiful Black women. And that's been a lot of fun. Hello. Good afternoon, Lisha Curl. Yes, getting flown out for business. Like seriously, first time ever. I mean, I've never actually like held any type of corporate job. It's always been education or retail sales. So this is definitely an experience. But yeah, so the ED had reached out and I said yes. And so I've been doing those events. And of course you've seen those posts. But then she reached out to say that they were going to be in Austin for Afrotech. And we're also going to be kicking off a partnership with another nonprofit out there called DivInc. So DIVINCK or INC. And whereas BlavityOrg specifically focuses on supporting Black women entrepreneurs, DivInc focuses on just underrepresented entrepreneurs, period, which, tends to be women of all races, but women in general, specifically who are in tech. So this is going to be their kickoff event. So I think they actually had programming from Saturday through Tuesday, I want to say. So I was there for the Monday events that we had. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'll definitely like post a recap reel or video on IG, and I'll put it on YouTube, of course, too, so that you can see a little bit of what was there. I was definitely taking a lot of stuff, but I wasn't posting a lot because I wanted to make sure I stayed focused and kept my energy grounded, and also just like you know safety reasons because I don't always want people to know like specifically where I am. Because folks be wild out in these streets. So I definitely will be posting that recap. But yeah, it was really cold. I was not expecting that. I thought it would be like cooler, like how it has been here in SoCal, but like there was this rainstorm or like the system that like went through, and like the temperatures just dropped. So your girl was padded up. I really did look like a school teacher on that stage because I was not about to be um, freezing, and even then I was still cold because just the rain like dropped the temperature, and like each day I was there like progressively got colder. So by the time I left I was like, I'm good. It's been lovely, Austin. I'm out. um but I flew in on Sunday, and it was a really cool flight. Like yo, why was the pilot like on one? Like when I tell you, he was really just like, y'all need to sit down and figure out the carry-on luggage thing because we need to leave. And we like literally left probably like 3 to 5 minutes before our scheduled time because he was just like, no, we, we gotta go. And we ended up flying in like 30 minutes early. Like my dude was just like on one. I was like, is everything okay? Like you trying to get home? Who are you trying to rush to? Um, and that crew was based out of Atlanta, which is hilarious to me. But yeah, it was a funny thing. But um, also, I was just like low key traumatized because like walking through that airport and being on a plane, like almost no one had any masks on, and I'm like, y'all, we are still in a pandemic, and it's like flu season. Like, cover up. But anyway, so I got in Sunday night, and that was lovely. And the hotel was really nice. Like I wasn't expecting it to be that nice. Like it was actually like, wow, y'all, thank you. We weren't close to the convention center, thank God, because there were so many people out there. I think Afrotech was like 25,000 attendees. Um, and yeah, it was too much. I didn't actually go over that way. I was like, I can't. Like, this is already the most amount of people I've been around. Being in the airport and like just all the activity in the city. Like, I was good. Because there were also like other conferences happening. Like, I had no idea. Like, there were so many tech conferences and just other stuff. So, it like Austin was just kind of packed. But it was still like a beautiful place. And it's my first time going there. But yeah, the hotel was gorgeous. I'll definitely include some of those photos when I do the video recap. Um, and food was kind of hit or miss. Like breakfast was really nice, but dinner was just kind of like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. Also, high key, why was your girl like just having a bougie moment because nobody had any matcha? And I was like, I didn't even think to bring any packets because I got my matcha on deck, but there was no matcha. And I was like, I can do coffee, I guess. But I really was like wanting matcha for like the immune boosting. But I was just like, oh man, like matcha's not on the menu. I don't know how to feel about that. Like I'm like, I thought everybody was drinking matcha at this point. I'm like, oh wait, I'm in Texas. But still, it's like a downtown spot. Like how is there not matcha on the menu? How is there not matcha like at the local cafes? Um, but yeah, so Monday was the event. We were supposed to have like a few hundred people come out. We did not because the weather, like I said, was like just really kind of rough with the rain and everything. But we had a nice little group come through. I'm actually like glad it was less because it was nerve wracking. The prospect of speaking in front of a few hundred people. Yeah, I mean, it's just obviously like it's something new, but I was just like, "Eh." So I was actually kind of glad it was a slightly smaller group of folks to talk to. So I was just like, okay, anxiety. But the talk went well. Folks really got a lot of good out of it. So my talk was 6 steps to 6 figures. So I was detailing the major steps and stages that you go through in order to get your business to pulling 6 figures in revenue. And I definitely wanted to share that because as I was telling the ladies there, I was like, I had to start with the numbers because I'm a math person. Right, yeah, but where's the matcha though? Like all the things out here, we got a whole music festival and all that, but like no matcha, no matcha. But I had to start that talk with the numbers of like, hey, women-owned businesses are still only doing like approximately 30 cents to every dollar for other businesses. And then, I was giving stats on the different minority groups within women. So Black women in particular only average 24,000 a year in revenue, compared to white women who do about 140K. But still, regardless, that in the context of the average being 30 cents on the dollar is pretty low. But like for Black women, like those numbers are exceedingly low, which is why I'm so passionate about like helping people really build their business in a way that's going to be like strong and sustainable and can take care of their needs because yeah, it's rough out here. So I was like, let me give you the playbook, let me give you the game, and hopefully like you can apply that to whatever type of business you have. Again, most of those folks were in some form of tech or they're about to start something in tech. I was just like, hey, this is my experience. This is what I've seen. I mean, I'm a service provider, but yeah, to keep that in mind and to use that as a framework to grow your business. Because yeah, most folks out here aren't actually like making that money. Like it's there's an aesthetic of lots of financial abundance, but it's not actually backed by the numbers, like real talk. So, and I think, once folks are really in business and they start to pay attention, they start to see that. And, it can be discouraging. It can be disheartening. It can be like, okay, well, it's only like a select few who are doing it. And it's like, no, it's actually, it is attainable. It's not going to be easy, but it is attainable. And real talk, like the 6 figures is a reasonable, appropriate goal for you to have because the cost of living in most of the cities that we're in are going to be at least like 60 to 75K. So that 100K, I know it seems like it's so much more, but it really just gives you a little bit more breathing room. So you're not, living paycheck to paycheck. But you're not necessarily really going to be out here balling, especially depending on the type of business that you have and how much profit you're actually making. So it's like that I would say would be your first like appropriate and grounded goal to work towards. And then once you get to that, then you can talk about like scaling your business. But 6 figures, I think, for most business owners, again, depending on where you live, because cost of living is different, but for most business owners, like that really has to be the goal. And to really do that conscientiously and in a way that centers your spiritual wellness and your humanity so that you can actually do it for the long term, instead of just having like, working 80 hours a week, right? And not seeing your family and not taking care of your health and all of that. Like it doesn't have to be that kind of trade-off. But yeah, everybody was attentive. It was great to meet the folks at DivInc, so the other nonprofit. That team was really great. They've grown so fast. So initially they were doing two like, I guess, kind of incubator cohorts. And now for next year, they're going to be expanding to 4, and they're in a couple different cities. So that's really exciting for them. So if you know anybody who is in Texas, I would definitely say, let them know about DivInc and have them apply and see if they can get into any of those cohorts. I think they are in Dallas, Texas. They're in Dallas, Houston, and Austin, and there might be one other spot for next year, but yeah. But what was great about this is that for each person I got to talk, so first, Sonia Marie went first, she had her talk, then she got to have a Q&A, and then there was a panel discussion happening between a couple different entrepreneurs there who were in various versions of tech. And then I actually got to go last. So yes, your girl was like the final speaker. Also nerves. I'm glad it was a smaller audience because I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm closing this out. So I got to speak last and I got to have a Q&A. And then after that, we took a short break and then the performer came in afterwards. But like it hit me when I got there. I was just like, oh, I'm like, I think whoever opens and whoever closes, like those are really like the key things that folks really pay attention to. And so like it dawned on me there. I was like, oh shit. Thank you. But also like, oh my God. But I really liked my Q&A section. I had 3 great questions. So I actually want to talk about that. So whoever is an entrepreneur, if you know somebody who's an entrepreneur, they might have these questions. Hopefully my answer for the questions that came up will be helpful. So I think that the first question that came up was somebody asking about time management and like how that works. And I know I've done like a reel about some of how I structure my schedule, but I appreciated the question because she was basically asking like, how do I handle all of my to-dos? Like what's really gonna work best? So that I'm making progress in my business, like some variation of that. Counter keynote speaker. I mean, I would say probably like, Sonia Marie would be the keynote because she had longer talk time. She had a 45-minute talk. I had a 30-minute talk. And that was also her second one. She was there for the first, she was there for the graduation for the Blavity cohort. But regardless, listen, I receive, I'm grateful. But yeah, so that first question I got from the audience was basically about time management and how to like, handle that as a business owner because, you're the one who's in charge of your schedule. So first things first, I said, was make sure you do your money-making activities first, whatever that's going to be. So that could be sending out an email, an invoice, that could be, having a call, that could be sending an email to remind somebody for a payment, like whatever it is, but knock out those money generating activities first, because ultimately that is your job as CEO, is to help to bring in money, to bring in revenue. And it's a business, right? So like do whatever there is available for you to do to have that happen, regardless of what stage of business that you're in, and knock that out first. And then you can get to the rest of your to-do list, which is really going to be more, honestly, more admin stuff, more operation stuff, marketing and all of that. Like that's the way I would say to structure, so that you are making sure that you're keeping front and center of mind ways to make money first, and then ways to ensure that you can handle the money that comes in, that you can manage it well, and that you can propagate it, like letting those tasks come in next. Because yeah, I think most people tend to do the opposite. They get really in their heads about like how their website looks, having the perfect copy, having the perfect pictures, like all this other stuff. And it's like, it doesn't matter if you don't actually have any money coming in. So flip the priorities and prioritize those things that can make you money, or that you hope will make you money, right? And then do the other stuff. So that first. And then I was talking about, the fact that we get the freedom to choose the schedule that we're going to have. So you don't have to keep the Monday through Friday 9 to 5 thing if you don't want to. Like some folks really work well with that, others don't. So you may be someone like me, and this is going to be the case for most folks who have a cardinal or mutable moon sign, where you want to have an on again, off again schedule. So I like to work a couple days and have a day off, work a couple days and have a day off. And so I experimented with that, found out what works for me, and then that just became my schedule. And that's what I basically kept for the past couple of years. But it may be different for you. You might be like really a morning person and want to knock out all of your kind of like heavy lifting stuff to do in the first couple of hours of the day, and then have the rest of the day off. You might prefer to have, like I do, Monday be more of your kind of admin day, and then the rest of the week for more interacting with other people kind of day. It really doesn't matter. But again, like just letting her know and letting folks in the audience know, like you have the freedom to choose what works best for you, and to let that be your new schedule, rather than trying to conform yourself to a schedule that is, typical of corporate culture, because that's one of the things that is great about being a business for yourself, is the freedom. But freedom is also a double-edged sword, because freedom will turn into chaos if you don't have a structure. So you have the freedom to find what works for you. And once you find what works for you, then you solidify that and you stick to that pattern, so that you're always working in a way that works best for you. And then you can still keep moving forward. So that was that first question. And then we got another question asking, what did Lydia ask? Oh, this is a good one. So she was asking about, how do we break through a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset? Because it's like, well, that was just the question. I'll just keep it at that. And I love that question came up, because the first thing, I wanted to touch on was like, do you actually have a scarcity mindset? What's making you think that that's the case? And so she was talking about how, like not having the kind of resources that she wants to have, or like the business not growing in a certain kind of way. And how like, her family had never experienced certain kinds of financial abundance and all of that. And I'm like, well, there's a difference between the facts of having low funds, right? And a belief system about, your ability to have financial abundance and all of that, right? And for the most part, she was really just talking about, hey, this is a thing that exists. There's low funds, or there's not as much as I would prefer for this thing. And so I was like, well, that's just going to be what it is, because that's just facts. That's just true. Like, it's low. It's something that you don't like. It's not something you prefer. That's its own thing. However, when we talk about mindset, what is the story that you're creating around yourself, about yourself, how you feel about yourself, because this other thing over here is happening, right? Like, what do you think is true about you? What do you think it means about you that the money over there is not the way that you think it should be, or that you would like it to be, or that you're trying to make it be? Like, what is happening there? And like, it was a moment in the crowd. Like, they're like, whoa, say that again. So I had to like break that down a little bit more, right? Of what that difference is. It's like you're collapsing something that's happening that you don't like, which is fine, because you're entitled to your feelings and you have a right to them. And it's important to know that, with this idea about who you are as a person, and attaching your sense of self-worth and value to that thing. Like, what really is that? What's really going on? And so the young lady was basically saying like, well, like I don't feel equipped to be successful, or what have you. And I was like, well, did you get the information that you needed today to feel equipped with, the knowledge, the expertise, or whatever, to then take the action that you feel will actually change things? And she was like, yeah. So I was like, there you go. Right? Like, because there wasn't really so much a story that she was saying about herself. What she came to realize in that time was that like, oh, I just feel like I don't know what I am to do, or what's going to be best, or whatever. So it's like, you really just are seeking information from someone or some place that has more information about the thing that you're experiencing. And once you get that thing, you know you're going to take action. If you don't take action, that's the place where you then go and get some healing work done or work with a therapist, because that's actually where you might be sabotaging yourself if you're not implementing what you know. But what you're bringing to mind right now is that, like, oh, like, no, I take action. I do the things. I just don't know. And I reminded folks there, like, when I ask people like what they consider their strengths and weaknesses to be for their business, weakness does not mean lack of knowledge. Like, lack of knowledge is not a weakness, it's just lack of knowledge. Places where you loop and you don't actually change behavior are the places that are actually weak, right? But a lack of knowledge is something that is easily fixed. You just either learn more or you bring somebody in who knows more to help you, right? But that's not a weakness, that's just not knowing. So that was like a big breakthrough, and I think it really like helped other folks too, because they're just like, oh shit, I didn't realize that. And it's not to say that like we don't, like, folks don't necessarily have quote unquote scarcity mindsets and stuff like that, but I'm like, for the most part, especially if you are really being called to business, I think you do yourself a disservice to not actually take a step back and check in to see how you, what you're really thinking, what you're really believing. Like, you not liking something, you preferring something different, doesn't mean that there's a flaw in your belief systems. You just like what you like. That's like saying the fact that you prefer vanilla ice cream over chocolate ice cream means that there's like some negative belief pattern in you that has to be shifted. Like, no, you get to have your preferences, right? Like, if you don't like chocolate ice cream, you don't like chocolate ice cream. Like, that's not a scarcity mindset. That's not a limiting mindset. It's, I know what I like. And when you do that kind of like self reflective work, you can get clear about, okay, is this really a preference? Is it just my feelings about a thing? Or is it something where it's like, oh, I see this pattern that comes up where I could do something different. I need to do something different, and I don't, right? That's actually a place where you need healing, where you have some kind of cycle that you need to break through. But cycle breaking is very different than just lack of knowledge or not liking something. Yeah. I feel like there's another question that came up. I'm not remembering right now. If I remember later, maybe I'll do another post. Yeah. But of course, afterwards, I got to, touch base with folks and chat a little bit more. And it's just so exciting to see young Black people doing things. Actually, it was a lot of ages there. It wasn't just young Black folks, because some folks had like just graduated college, but there were like other folks there in their 30s and 40s, which was really nice to see. But yeah, it was just really refreshing. And I also really enjoyed the fact, because obviously both me and Sonia Marie are spiritual entrepreneurs. Like, our business is spirituality and providing guidance in that way. I was really actually happy to see how open spiritually folks were. Like, I don't know, like something was different this time around, because at least up to this point, like I've found that, like, that awareness of spirit and wanting to integrate it hadn't really been part of the consciousness of folks I've been at least seeing in these contexts. Not that it wasn't there, but like it felt like it was really much more front and center, and that made me really happy, because I was like, oh yes, like this is actually where we need to be. Like, this real conscious awareness of spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical alignment and support of what your divine purpose is and your calling is for your business. Like, yes. Um, yeah, that was really exciting. That was really exciting. A lot of different kind of conversations this time around, a lot of light and awareness and illumination of spirit in those conversations. And I was just like, okay, we're going where we need to go. That gives me hope. Because, like in this context of social media, like I know it seems like it's so big and we are connecting to so many people, but we're really not. Um, it is really like these little clusters of folks, and they really can be echo chambers at times. But as soon as you start to go a little bit further out of that, you can see like, oh, like a lot of the conversations are not actually being held between these hubs or between folks. So yeah, and that can be a bit jarring when you're used to, or if you've been heavy in a social media space, to then be connected outside of that and be like, oh, like y'all not even open because y'all like heavy religious folks, right? But that really wasn't the case. There really was a nice openness and familiarity and all of that was there. So that was nice to see. Yeah, but the rest of the night was good. The artist that we had, Tony Jones, she was amazing. She's an affirmation rapper, so she had some great stuff in her performance. And yeah, that was it. And I left out on Tuesday. I made my way back. So it was a beautiful experience. It really was. Really, really grateful. That is, as far as I know, it for me. I'm waiting to hear back if I'm going to do another in-person event with another space, a co-working space. So hopefully I'll find out by the end of this month if I'm going to do something in December. But if not, that will be it for the rest of the year. And I'm actually grateful for that. I don't know about next year. I don't know if BlavityOrg will call me back again. They may want to cycle through some new folks. We'll see. If they ask, I'll definitely be back. I'm definitely open to it. But regardless, like this has been a great year for speaking engagements. And yeah, that is it. I think that's it. So for the folks who are here, how's it going? Do you have questions? Anything that I say during my recap of where folks were asking during my talk, do you have questions about that? Let me go back and wave to folks who are here. Hello, everybody. If there's no questions, I will go ahead and bounce. For those who are fellow entrepreneurs here, I do have up my November Entrepreneur Guidance IG Live. It's the second pinned video on my Instagram feed. For the YouTube folks, what I'll do is once the recording is up, I will make sure to tag that in the description box so that you have it. So every month, I do entrepreneur guidance based off of the influence of the astrology for the month, so that helps you to figure out how to make the most of that. And then periodically, I will also do videos on different transits for how to best use that. So I did also just do a video on Tuesday, actually, right as I was leaving Austin, on Venus's transit through Sagittarius. So that actually just started November 15th, and it will go through December 8th. So if you want to find out how that can help you or how to use that transit for your business, check out that video. And of course, I will tag that in the YouTube description. And then I also did a live on kind of navigating the eclipse energies that we just had, in particular the full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus. That was on, I think it was November 8th. Definitely, like, the energy has been a little wild with that, but it has eased up a bit. But I did a live specifically about that, so you might find that helpful. And that's actually the first video that's on my IG feed, I have that one pinned as well, and I'll be sure to pin that in the um, the comments on YouTube. But yes. Oh, thank you, Vintage Photo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm glad it has helped. I am finally going to be. I have it. I'm making it a point. I'm making it a goal to finish this book. I know I talked about it at the beginning of the year when I was doing the Conversations with the Oracle series. So yeah, that's my goal, to knock that out by the end of the year and have that available for sale next year. So y'all give me all the good energy, all the good vibes, so that I can follow through on that. I'm most likely going to really try to hit the ground running with that after Thanksgiving and spend like all of December working on it. I have pretty much most of the material. I really just have to edit it and get it in a format that I like. But I can do it, and I'm going to do it. Like, it needs to get done. So the things I want to work on. But yeah. Oh, hey. Hey, Atia. Congrats again. Thank you for the recap share. So you are welcome. I will I'll probably put a reel up later today to just go through some of the photos that I took in the air, in the hotel, the food, some of the photos at the event and stuff like that. But yes, that is it. All right, y'all. So I won't stay on too much longer because it's already been like 30 minutes. So this is lovely to see you. I hope you are doing well. And yeah, I'll be announcing soon-ish, probably towards the end of the month, when I'm doing the 2023 astrology intensives. So that will be good. Most likely I'm going to do those in January. But we'll see, just because all the group programs I have going on. Anyway, if you have questions or you'd like to work with me, if you're here on IG, you can click the link in my bio. You can schedule a free call or just go to my website and check out the services that I have for that. And then if you're here on YouTube, I will, of course, put my website in the description so you can check me out and work with me. I would definitely love to support you and help you in being the light worker that you are and running your business the way that we need, because we need to shift the culture. We need to shift the culture in our spiritual world and our spiritual practices, as well as shift the culture in how we do business. So let's do that. Anyway, I love you all so much, and God willing, I will see you next time. Bye.